Welcome back to Talkin Shop. It's been a lot less time this time since the last recording. It's only been like a month.
Yeah, it's been about a month,
Give or take.
but we're back, and from here on out, we're good. They let me go with parole. So let's...
God, I hope we can actually keep up a weekly schedule this time. 'Cause I do enjoy doing this.
Me too. Life gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. But, in the absence since the last episode, I decided to kind of go through, like, all the, like, the streaming services that I have access to and, like, just find new shows to watch or, like, rewatch old shows that I hadn't seen in a while. And one of the shows that I did watch recently was Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Holy fuck. I'm going to start it off by saying that I fucking love Karate Kid. Karate Kid is one of the best movies of the 80s.
It is. It's a great.
By far.
It's a great film.
It's an amazing film. Cobra Kai is the best sequel Karate Kid could have ever gotten.
Now, Cobra Kai is about the kid who Karate Kid beats in the final.
Yeah, Johnny,
and it's like him growing up in a dojo, and like he's trying to deal with the fact that people are like, oh yeah, the
little bit, yeah.
you're
Like
the one who got your ass beat. And
there's a lot of really good moments in the first few episodes of Johnny's like life that you really get to see. Like he lives in this shithole apartment. He's got a drinking problem. His kid and his ex-wife hate him.
Relatable.
But he's driving to like some job that he does, and on the way there he sees a fucking billboard of Daniel LaRusso's car dealership. Like he has like this string of car dealerships all around San Francisco, and he looks at it and he sees this abandoned lot in a strip mall, and he goes, you know what? I'm going to bring back Cobra Kai. I'm going to bring back the dojo that caused everybody troubles in Karate Kid, but I'm going to make it different. And the first student he takes on is this asthmatic Hispanic kid named Miguel, who gets the shit kicked out of him by, like, the popular kids at school. And he tries to teach Miguel the old Cobra Kai teachings, you know, no mercy, no fear, strike first, like that kind of thing. And it ends up
out of your sensei.
Yeah, and it ends up backfiring super horribly near the end of the first season because what Johnny realizes is that teaching them that old Cobra Kai mentality actually turned them, like all of his later students, into huge bullies.
So
like they're all horrible bullies, and he kind of learns from that. And like there's a lot of like really good learning process about like taking this kid who is essentially like the secondary antagonist of the movie and turning him into the main character and making him relatable and good and like all this stuff. Fucking Daniel, the fucking main character from Karate Kid, he's a fucking asshole. He's the biggest prick in Cobra Kai. And it's so good to see that reflection of Johnny's the good guy, Daniel's the bad guy.
So,
like, what the fuck?
So that reminds me of that play you showed me, Twisted.
Yeah, where from Jafar's point of view.
So Twisted is a play on the movie Aladdin, where they spin it so that Jafar is actually the good guy. And Aladdin's like he's
like this 33-year-old narcissist.
Well, the thing is, they technically don't change anything.
No, they really don't.
Because Jafar is just like the Sultan, or the I forget.
He's the Vizier.
Vizier, thank you. He's the royal Vizier to the Sultan, basically his right-hand man who runs the kingdom for him, and he has to deal with all this bullshit. Like, the Sultan's trying to marry his daughter, Jasmine, and she's like having her tiger attack princes, and he's like, well, your fucking princess attacked me, so I'm gonna go and get all my soldiers and we're gonna go to war. And so he's trying to deal, and then comes Aladdin.
Did you hear that, lads? A prince fucked a tiger. I did not fuck a tiger.
Didn't my tiger eat your ass? Tiger fucker! Tiger fucker! It's absolutely hilarious.
Oh, it's so good.
It's free to watch on YouTube. Just like
type. It's by a group called Star Kid. A lot of people would probably remember them from a Harry Potter musical.
Yeah,
because that was like one of their biggest projects.
And it is a set, but it's literally like high school auditorium quality.
It's like
but
it's
it
like
works.
show house on the Lower East Side of Manhattan.
Yeah,
like
but,
that doesn't get a lot of plays, and it's mostly like a lot of one act, like one man show shit.
Yeah,
like it's that kind of thing, but it's this whole cast.
Yeah, and they make Aladdin this like 33-year-old piece of shit homeless thief who tries to fuck girls.
Killed
that
his
are
parents.
He like had a psychotic break and killed his parents. And he has
Because they wanted him to get a job and get married and all that shit.
And he has a song called "Orphaned at 33." Oh my god, I actually cried with laughter, and you know it's.
A song is a sheep. A song is a dick in sheep's clothing.
A song is a dick in sheep's clothing.
What about Prince Eric? He wanted to fuck a fish. He did not fuck a fish.
It's so good. There's so many memorable lines.
It's great.
Oh my god. And when Aladdin goes to the bread baker and he's like, yeah, that loaf of bread I stole from you yesterday, it had raisins in it.
And I keep telling you, man, I fucking hate raisins. So I was talking to Monkey the other day, and
by the
he thinks
way,
we should just kill you.
They call Abu just Monkey.
Yeah.
and
then I went, no, Abu, that's crazy. But then I thought, yeah. No more fucking raisins.
Oh my god.
It's so great. It's so quotable. That dumb cat tore right through my pants and grabbed a hold of my Woody. Tiger fucker! Tiger!
It's so good. It's free to watch. Seriously, watch it.
Oh, it's so great.
You will not regret it, but that reminds me of that spin where...
Yeah.
Where...
But no, fucking... One of the best characters in the show, who's a fucking prick. He is just the biggest asshole when he joins Cobra Kai. Is this kid that used to have a hair lip, like he got the surgery for it, but it's got like a really noticeable scar. Who goes by the nickname Hawk.
Nice.
And when he joins Cobra Kai, he spikes up his hair into a mohawk, dyes it blue, and then gets a tattoo across his shoulder blades of a hawk with a mohawk.
Jesus Christ, don't cut yourself on all that edge.
Oh, it's fucking great. He is still the biggest prick in the show. Like, he is always ready to throw down with anybody. He completely dismisses his ex-best friend, who ends up joining Daniel's Miyagi-Do, like his dojo, and all that shit. And he's one of the most entertaining characters in the show, because he's just so extremely edgy.
He listens to Nickelback and Trapped. He's like, yo, by the way, fuck Trapped right now.
Oh no, what happened with Trapped?
You don't fucking know?
No, dude, I don't listen to Trapped.
Okay,
The fuck do you take me for? Someone who listens to Nickelback?
Okay, first of all, fuck you, I like Nickelback. What did Nickelback ever do to anybody?
And they say that a hero save us.
Yeah, that song's beautiful.
Not gonna stand here and wait.
That's a beautiful song.
Fucking Spider-Man, dude.
But...
it's the most 2000s shit ever.
Well, yeah, it was the 2000s.
Yeah,
It hit what it was aiming for.
The ending song of the first Spider-Man movie had Nickelback, and there was a performance from Macy Gray halfway through the movie.
Uh-huh.
That's the most 2000s shit ever.
Oh, yeah.
That's nuts.
But
no, so what happened with Trapped?
The singer, Chris Taylor Brown.
Oh, no.
He went... And, you know, I don't think he deserved what he got just for this, but he's a super pro-Trump guy.
Oh,
He's a super pro-Trump guy. He's, you know, all about, like, they rigged the election and whatnot. And if it was just that, be like, whatever. I disagree with you, but whatever.
But he's, like, a huge conspiracy theorist and that shit.
Conspiracy theorist. Super Trump guy. He tweets a lot. That there was a story, I guess, in California where a woman teacher, slept with a 15-year-old student.
Oh, I think I know that one.
Yeah, and and essentially he tweeted like, "Yo, nice job," and they're like, "Well, you shouldn't, you know, maybe you're feigning, but you're a musician who has some influence. You shouldn't be condoning this and, you know, this rape charge." He's like, "That's not rape," and they're like.
No, that's statutory.
They're like an overage person had sex with an underage person. That's rape or statutory rape. And he's like, women can't rape men. And so naturally, a bunch of people are like, they can indeed rape men. He said, if you're going to compare a 30-year-old man sleeping with a 15-year-old girl to a 15-year-old boy sleeping with a 30-year-old woman, then I don't get your logic.
That's still statutory.
Yeah.
That's illegal.
So now, and if anybody questions him, he just, calls them a libtard and blocks them.
Yeah, that figures.
And it's like, you don't get that somebody, not like 2 years older, it's not like a 20-year-old fucked a 14, like an 18 and a 16-year-old slept together. Yeah. Where like...
No, this is like a woman who's clearly at least in her early to mid-30s.
Yeah, sleeping with
somebody with a half her age.
With a freshman boy.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no, that's not rape. Women can't rape men.
Ugh, God.
So, yeah. That's
awful.
So, then he tweeted about #ProudBoy. And I guess the Proud Boys are like a hardcore right-wing white supremacist group.
Yeah, they're like somewhere out in the Midwest, I think.
Yeah, so Facebook took down Trap's page, and people tried to make new quote-unquote official Trapped pages, where now they just mock stuff like, yo, so I was sucking a fart out of Ted Nugent's ass last week. And awful shit. And
holy shit.
And so Trap's Facebook page got taken down. Trap's Twitter got suspended. I think his personal page got suspended.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, but
oof, that's rough.
But to backtrack, to the whole like the kid from Karate Kid students being bullies. I know a very legitimate martial arts teacher. I won't use his last name I don't think he'd mind, but his name's Station. Very exotic name.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
And
he owns that karate studio near Abashan, right?
It moved, but
it?
Probably has.
Yeah, no, he tried to get me to sign up for a few of his classes once.
Yeah, I did one. And this guy could kill you with a napkin. Like
he's a super nice dude.
The thing is, he's a very super chill, and he's all about like peace and love and understanding.
He and his girlfriend or wife or whatever used to come to Cumbies all the time, and they are just the sweetest fucking people.
Yeah. He's kind of tallish, but like skinny.
Yeah.
And he wears like half-frame glasses. You wouldn't expect him to be able to kick your ass.
He carries himself with the confidence of a man who could kick your ass in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's talking about men our size, like 6'3", 6'5" looking dudes that weigh almost 300 pounds.
I mean, he used to be a waiter at the restaurant I work at, and so he'd be like, hey, come here, let me show you something. 10 seconds later, I'm like, ow, I give up. And he just instilled little lessons in you, and he's like, never push.
Yeah.
Always fall back and deflect and stuff like that. And he's very philosophical.
Always use your enemy's movement against them.
And when I went to his class, he was talking about, he said, do you want to do it? I'm like, I actually might. It might be a confidence booster and all these other things. And I said, I'm surprised that, he has a nice-sized group, but his dojo could fit more people. I'm like, I'm surprised you aren't full. And he goes, I turn away people all the time. I'm like, you turn away money? And he goes,
it's because they want the power that knowing a martial art can give them. It's that cockiness over confidence.
I said, why do you turn away people? And he's like, because I get that kid who's like, I want to learn how to beat people up. And I'm like, nope, sorry, go somewhere else.
Nah.
But he like trains with like Canadian Air Force. Like he showed me a photo. It was him in like the classic key with the black belt, and there was like blood on his shirt because they don't fucking stop up there.
No.
Unless you're like out. And he's like, yeah, I'm a black belt in this one. I'm an orange belt in these two, and I'm a double black belt in this. I think key. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce the name of the martial art, but it's really funny seeing this like super calm and collected, like 6 foot at most skinny dude with a goatee, half frame glasses. He's like, peace and love, man, and he could legit beat your ass if he wanted to.
He could kill a man.
I was like, is it true that you have to say that your hands are lethal weapons? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, I actually do, and it's really funny because the drunk asshole at the bar doesn't care.
Fuck. That's great.
Yeah.
But no, I highly urge the people, like, if people have seen Karate Kid, and especially Karate Kid 2, there's actually some references to that in there.
Uh-huh.
I'd highly recommend that people check out...
third?
They made 4 and a remake.
Oh,
the 4th one had Hilary Swank when she was, like, a teenager, and it's not good.
What do you think of the Jaden Smith?
It's not karate. It's kung fu.
It's kung fu.
It's Shaolin kung fu. But you can't call it the Kung Fu Kid and have it be, tugging on people's nostalgia.
I will say that...
If they had put Jaden Smith's character in Japan and cast, like, actual, and cast, a credible Japanese actor who's done some work in English cinema, like, I could totally see that being a really good Karate Kid remake. But no, you put it in China, you have Jackie Chan as the mentor, and you teach the kid Kung Fu.
Which,
that shit ain't karate.
It's not, but I'll say, I love Jackie Chan today.
Oh, I fucking love Jackie Chan.
He is the world's grandpa.
He's so great. But, it's
when
it's not karate.
When he has him,
with the bamboo shit.
Well, the bamboo stuff, but all he has him do is take off and put on his jacket very fast, and he has him deflecting punches. He's like, everything is kung fu. I'm like, ooh.
There's actually a really good...
Jackie Chan just beats the shit out of 13-year-old.
Yeah, right? There's a really great joke in Season 2 of Cobra Kai when Daniel's trying to open Miyagi-Do, and he's trying to get students to come in, and he's trying to teach them the way Mr. Miyagi taught him. Like, wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
Paint the fence, all that shit. And most of the students that he gets... walk away because they're just like, nah, I ain't doing your fucking chores, man.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. And they just fucking bounce, and he's like, wait, but karate. Don't you want to learn karate? It's like, dude, that ain't karate. It's like, no, but it is though. Totally is. And there's great shit like that. But I highly urge people to check out that show. Season 3 comes out in early January. And I'm so excited, because that means I only have to wait 3 more weeks for the new season. And then I'm going to binge that fucker in a heartbeat.
Speaking of not having to wait for very long, Cyberpunk comes out
comes out tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow? Fuck, I thought it was
It comes out today, worldwide in most places. A lot of Xbox users have managed to get it early through setting their time zone to New Zealand. Which I think is fucking great. I think
I'm gonna pull what's called a pro gamer.
I think
Hacker man.
I think PC gamers get it today worldwide, and then console gamers get it tomorrow. But it's set up in different time zones, so that way it doesn't crash the servers when they download it all at once. So I believe North American buyers can get it at 4 p.m. Eastern today.
Oh,
so that means that by 1 o'clock in California, people can just download Cyberpunk.
California.
Which is awesome. But no, Cyberpunk comes out tomorrow, and I do want to get it, but I think the problem is that my PS4 will catch on fire if I try to play it, because my PS4 is 5 fucking years old.
Mine too.
Yeah. So, it can run games like Miles Morales and everything, no problem. But I think a game like Cyberpunk would probably destroy my computer. Or not my computer, my PS4. So I'm probably going to wait until I get a PS5 to get Cyberpunk. Just because I know I can handle it. But also, I was actually talking to a few of my buddies on Discord earlier today, and I'm getting a pretty good bonus in my paycheck this week.
Sweet.
So I'm going to save up my money from my paycheck this week and wait until my paycheck the week after. And I'm going to buy my own gaming PC.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that my brothers built their own PCs?
Yeah, I figured they would. They seem like the kind of guys who would rather build theirs than get it pre-built.
They took, I'm not sure what it's called. It was basically what a diet version of what IT guys would take in the tech center.
Yeah.
and they took it all 4 years they were in high school. So they literally learned how to build computers from scraps, like parts.
Damn.
And so when they got their very well-paying jobs, they're like, "Yep, we're just we're saving up and we're gonna build PCs." And so they finally built them, and they have like liquid and air cooled shit.
Oh,
They have like
Jesus Christ!
they have like LEDs in their keyboard, so their keys glow different colors. And like, how much did those cost you? And they said, each one cost about $3,000.
Fuck.
Yeah, my brothers custom built PCs. Bought World War II guns that were used in combat. And I'm like, dude, you own a gun that like killed somebody.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
No, I was talking to a few of my buddies on Discord, and like a few of them have their own gaming rigs and everything that they've built over the years. Like they've swapped out parts and all that stuff, and like just kept upgrading it. And I was like, hey, I'm gonna get a pre-built PC. Something kind of on the cheaper side, just because I don't want to save up for like months on end just to buy one. What do you recommend? I was gonna get this Dell G Series computer that's like almost $700, and one of them looked at all the specs, like customized it for me, and then sent me back another link and went, "Here, you said your limit was $800. That's $801."
801.
It was $1 extra, but he was like, it has an SSD instead of an HDD, so it boots up super quickly. It's got he decided to add a bit of flair to it and give me the RGB like color light setup, so that way it glows on the side.
Hell yeah!
Which is super cool, and they're all customizable too, so I can like customize my own colors, which is pretty dope. All that stuff. And the nice thing about Dell is that if you're shipping in the US, it's free shipping.
Oh shit.
So for $800, I can get a brand new, pretty good gaming PC. Because I don't need something super, high-end, top-notch, whatever. I just need something that can play fucking Halo. Right? Ooh. But
Yo, give me something that can play my modded to shit Skyrim.
right.
And we're good.
I have a feeling I could probably play Cyberpunk on this PC, but it'll be like not exactly on the low end of settings, but like it won't be, super high beautiful graphics that everyone's playing it with, which is fine. But $800. And I can play a bunch of the games that I haven't been able to play ever on my Steam library, and like a ton of other games that have come out. And I'm gonna use my old flat screen as a monitor for now, just until I can get a better one.
Yeah,
because it's easier that way,
I want to save up and get a gaming laptop or something, just because.
No, look on Dell. It's super cheap for those. It's like
I saw a mad fucked up thing. It was like, if you want to get a gaming computer for cheap, go on eBay or Amazon when report cards come out.
Oh,
I'm like,
that's like looking for dating on the Facebook Marketplace by looking at people selling wedding dresses.
Oh, ouch! So, hey,
that'd be the perfect dating site for you, Greg.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Now I'm sad.
Actually,
now I'm a sad panda.
I have a date this Friday too.
Yeah, well, good for fucking you, Eric.
Look, I'm telling you, man. You're first. Like, have you had an experience with dating sites?
Okay, so I was recommended a dating site called Plenty of Fish.
Don't use
by my sister. I made like the bare bones profile. No photo, no about me. Basically, I just went on there just to like scout, I guess.
Yeah.
I immediately got a request by, and not that this matters, but I'm shallow and petty and an asshole.
Oh, is this like the super cute redhead?
No. Well,
no.
Yes and no. The first request I got was from a morbidly obese 44-year-old woman.
That's why I don't use Plenty of Fish.
Who... It almost sounded like a bot, but like just from her profile activity, I knew she was a real person. I'm like, I am at the time 22 years old.
Yeah, you're not gonna date someone twice your age.
Yeah, and so I start browsing, and a major city near us, Keene.
Right.
There was a cute redhead girl who was my age wearing a Star Wars shirt. I'm like, fuck yeah!
Hell yeah!
Like, fuck. If you're a redhead girl who likes Star Wars,
hit a brother up.
I'll marry you now. And so, I was intrigued enough where I clicked on her profile and read her like little paragraph about me.
Right. And
it said, "All men are pigs. Kill the patriarchy." But she was single, looking for men.
Well, you know what she was looking for? She was looking for a set of balls to step on.
Yeah, and also one of the questions was, how much money do you make a year?
Yeah, that's why I don't use Plenty of Fish.
I'm like, what the fuck kind of question is that?
Yeah, sites like Plenty of Fish and Match.com and eHarmony and whatnot use questions like that to help like narrow down your search parameters. And I think that's like the shallowest shit, which is why I go with simpler sites like Tinder and Bumble. Hinge.
Well,
like those are way simpler because all you have to do, especially with Tinder now, it's way easier to find matches because they added this new thing in an update that allows you to pick out 5 interests that you have, and you can match with people who have like similar interests.
Well, literally,
which is super cool.
The only 2 things I know about Tinder and Bumble are they're like, hey, let's fuck websites.
They can be.
They can be.
They are predominantly used for that, sure. But if you specify that you're looking for a relationship, odds are somewhere down the line you'll find somebody who will also have that same feeling and want to reciprocate it.
So my sister, she told me to use online, not just that one site, but different sites. And I'm like, I can't even talk to people face to face. I'm like, here I can't shut the fuck up. Yeah. But in real life, if I don't already know you very well, I'm quiet. I don't talk. And so...
Well, that's why I think Bumble would be perfect for you, actually, because women are the ones who are supposed to start the conversations when you match.
Oh.
So...
But, I said, I can't even talk to people now, let alone over a screen. And she said, well, you're on a dating site. You both know why you're there. So that awkwardness isn't there anymore. And I'm like, yeah, but still.
I mean, most times on other dating sites, like... A lot of the time, they're expecting the man to initiate the conversation. So, like, it hinges a lot on the man to think of a good icebreaker or, like, a good starter of the conversation than just, hey, how's it going, Like, do you ask them a question about
hey,
your own
how's it going? Can I eat your ass? The usual 3 go-tos.
Damn, you thicker than a Snicker and I want to bite.
Girl, you thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
But no, I met this girl that I'm going on a date with on Friday on Hinge, which is a pretty decent dating site.
The only thing I know about it is
she's gorgeous. Like, hold on.
She got like a slutty friend or something. Like
I can ask if it gets past the first date. Well, let me grab my phone so I can show you.
Eric ghosted me so he can go get his phone so he can rub his hot date in my face.
Yeah, we're doing it virtually because she's not comfortable meeting in person with the pandemic going on and everything right now.
Oh, yeah.
Which is understandable.
Understandable. And that kind of takes some of the pressure off because it's like, if you fuck up, you can just hang up. Oh, okay.
6 foot tall brunette.
Colorado?
Well.
Oh, that's where she's...
Wait, she's in BF right now?
What?
When I matched with her, she was in Springfield.
Oh.
Fuck.
I don't know, maybe she moved.
Well, that's I don't think she moved. I think it's just she's maybe in town doing something right now.
Oh.
Which is cool. But I'm not going to rush into it because we already made plans for Friday.
I'm a perfect bundle of nerves when it comes to
yeah, same here.
To like not even dating, just to do a throwback here, courting.
Yeah.
Like, just showing interest in somebody, I'm so awkward.
Yeah, no, because like...
Essentially, my plan is I'm going to stare at you until you marry me.
See, that's why I like dating sites with gimmicks like Bumble or Hinge, because I'm not good at initiating conversations to begin with. So Bumble's a good one to start with because it's up to the woman to break the ice and be like, hey, how's it going? Or, ask a question or something. You can just get the conversation flowing from there.
I'm terrified of talking to
Hinge. when you set up your profile, you can set up, a series of pictures that you want to put on your profile. You can add prompts to it that give you a bit more personality to the pictures. And you have to fill out 3 topics about, various questions like, hey, what are you looking for in a relationship? Or what's your love language? What are you into? What's 2 truths and a lie? That kind of thing. And when people look at your profile, they can choose to like one of your pictures and comment on it, and it sends you that comment with the picture. Or if you like one of their prompts, you can respond to that, and that also gets the conversation going.
Jeez, remember,
So,
back in the
I like
day,
those sites because they're much simpler gimmicks that allow you to make matches faster.
And then there was our parents who were just like...
I don't think I've ever asked my mom how she and my dad met. I think it was... Well, I definitely know at the time she met my dad when he was working in Brattleboro at Sam's Outfitters. So maybe they met at Sam's?
I know how my parents met. Well,
I'll say your mom and Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, who's my dad, but not my genetic father. I do know how both of them met, though.
That's the closest damn thing to a dad you'll ever have.
Yeah. My mom and genetic father, they, just high school sweethearts, got married, had shit out my sister, 3. They birthed a beautiful baby girl, my older sister, 3 years later they birthed me. Then they divorced, and mom at 24, 25,
wow,
was working. No, she was 24 when she had my sister. So at 27, she's working at a doors and windows company office, doing paperwork and stuff.
Right.
Dad,
a job that's gonna have to pay the bills and support your kids without needing someone else.
My dad at 19, and a fresh 19 too. His birthday's in June.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. At a couple months new 19.
Bill likes him older, huh?
I guess. He went into the office to grab something, and he saw my mom, and apparently, according to mom, he goes, I see it now. 2 sons and a daughter. And that's how they started. He adopted me and my sister at 19, 20. South end of 19, early part of 20, he adopted.
There you go.
And I'm like, I'm 28. I could not imagine being 8 years into a marriage and have 2 adopted children and have 2 genetic sons and have 4 kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, how? And he goes, I don't know, I just did. I'm like, Dad, I'm 28 and I can't make my own doctor's appointment. And you're married, you have 4 kids, and you're 25.
That's what I'm telling you, man. Get into easy dating sites, and the one thing I've realized as I've obviously I'm 4 years younger than you, but one thing I've realized as I've been getting older in my 20s and everything is that I started to kind of loosen what I'm looking for physically and romantically in a woman. I've never had a problem with girls who are a bit on the bigger side, because I've dated some girls that are a bit on the bigger side. I'm a bit on the bigger side.
Yeah, me too.
But, if a girl's cute, I like to see if we can, connect somehow and, find something that interests both of us. And if that's how it is, then great. Awesome. Whatever.
I've lucked out. All of my girlfriends somehow have been, petite.
Yeah.
I mean, Japan girlfriend was average.
Average build,
but the other 2 were very... God, the redhead was petite.
Still petite.
I was worried I was going to break her.
I've dated girls that are somewhere veering the line between average and chubby. My most recent ex was a bit of a sportier type, which was awesome. And And then beyond that, I think I did date one petite girl for a few months. And that was nice.
Mm.
But, like, beyond that, I think most of the time my body type has been women who are a bit on the, average to bigger side. Because, like, I don't know. I don't discriminate. I like a good burger, too.
Dude, I got a buddy. His name's Chris. He loves fat chicks. He loves them. I'm like...
Is he currently seeing anyone right now? Because I got one for him. Wait. How fat is fat? Exactly. Like...
Fat. Like, I'm not talking... I'm not talking, like... The thighs are a little thick. I mean, like, they haven't seen their knees in 10 years.
Oh, I got a perfect one for him, then.
Him and I aren't friends anymore. I should have said ex-friend, but yeah, he was all about...
Oh, because I was going to say, I have a coworker who works in the meat department, and his sister-in-law, he keeps making the joke to set me up with her, and he always prefaces it with, "How do you feel about 400-pound women who don't ever leave the recliner, like,
oh god,
except to go to the bathroom, and maybe not even then?" And I just kind of looked at him like, no.
Now we're gonna get called fat phobes. And...
We're fat.
I know
they can't see us, but I'm pushing like 280.
I'm gonna lie and say I'm around 3.
Like the last time I weighed myself, I was about 272, and that was about a year and a half ago.
I know damn well I'm probably at 350. Minimum, I'm at 350.
Maybe, but you're also a bigger dude anyway.
6'5".
Yeah, you're 6'5" and very stocky built. So like,
well, that's what Japan girlfriend used to say. She would be like, yeah, you're 280, 320, but you're fucking huge.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah, it's the same with me. I'm like pushing 280, but honestly, a good chunk of where the fat is just in my belly, and I'm pretty well built everywhere else. So a lot of it is actually just pure genetics and muscle.
I wear a size 16 boot.
Yeah, you've got huge feet compared to your shoe size is 4 sizes bigger than mine.
I remember my mom brought me to, every year get new shoes for school, and every year, that fucking shoe guy, I'd be like, hey.
He'd look at me like, you.
Well, no, the thing is, he'd be like, all right, what's your size? And I'd say 16 wide, and I would hear he'd be like, Jesus fucking Christ. He's like, all right, here's the 2 shoes in the fucking store that... There was one time he just had no fucking chill, and I was like, hey, can I see these Converse in my size? He's like, yeah, I'd like to see them in your size too.
See, I have Converse that are a 12 wide.
Yeah, those...
my Batman chucks.
I wouldn't even get my ankle into those.
Oh, God.
It's bad.
Yeah, no, I buy all my shoes in 12 wide because my feet aren't exactly long, but they are big.
Yeah.
So, like, I have to buy them in wides. And I learned my lesson from that when I bought Converse in middle school and didn't realize that I had wide feet, not long feet. And they squoze, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that wasn't fun. Did I ever tell you about the summer where I grew like 4 or 5 inches and my parents hated going clothes shopping for me that summer?
No. Well, you may have mentioned it like years ago.
Yeah, so like right at the beginning of summer, I think between 7th and 8th grade, I think it was right around then. I was about 5, 6 at the time, right at the end of 7th grade. And then my parents decided to go clothes shopping for my sister and I, like, somewhere around early to mid-June, just so that we could get it out of the way and not worry about it. And I ended up growing about 5 inches over the course of that summer. Jesus. So... my parents had to go clothes shopping for me like 3 or 4 separate times to get me new clothes because I just wouldn't stop fucking growing. So by the end of the summer, I was going into 8th grade almost 6 foot.
My sophomore...
And then by the time I hit sophomore year, I was 6'3", and that's where it stopped.
I think my sophomore to junior year was the one where I really grew because... it's really hard to bully somebody when you got to look up to bully them.
Yeah, right? Didn't stop some people, though.
It didn't stop some people, but it stopped most of them.
Didn't stop he who will not be named from clocking you in the face like a punk.
You know, that's one of those things where... So, story time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love telling people this story.
There was I was a junior at the time.
He was in my grade.
Yeah, he was a freshman, I think.
Yeah.
I was a junior, and I just got along more with like sophomores and freshmen than I did the other seniors.
Yeah, same with me.
I don't know why I just did. So I had a lot of freshmen and sophomore friends, and we were all like the nerds and stuff. And our friend, we'll call him Elmo, because that's what we call him in real life. This kid...
If you want to talk about a big man, that's a big man.
He's a big man.
That's a big man.
This kid was giving Elmo a hard time. I think he like took his hat and he wouldn't give it back.
Yeah, he was a fucking punk.
Yeah, this is the kid who's like, yeah, man, I'm hardcore. And then you challenge him and he's like,
Yeah, he was at least a good 4 or 5 inches shorter than me, and I outweighed him by like 120 pounds.
Yeah, and so...
In the same grade. So, like...
So, this was late February because we were about to go on winter break.
Yep. Yeah, it was right before it was the end of Winter Carnival.
It was the end of Winter Carnival. It was Carnival Day because Carnival...
Oh, right, as we were all waiting for the bus.
Yep. So, Elmo finally gets his hat back, and I was like, yeah, you know, fuck that kid. He's an asshole, whatever. Yeah. And we go to break. And for some reason, Elmo somebody I think it was you, put a status on Facebook. It's like, you know, some people just need to grow the fuck up or whatever, and Elmo commented on it, and I commented on it. And I said, yeah, you should have kicked that kid's ass or something. And then, you know, we go the whole vacation, and we come back, and the Monday that we come back, it's like you, me, Elmo, my girlfriend at the time,
and like a couple of our other friends.
And just a couple of our other friends. And we're chatting. And so, like, a week goes by. And before the hat episode, I'd never seen that kid before. You know, he was a fucking nobody to me. So I completely forget about him because we've been gone a week. And so I'm talking with my friends. And I feel somebody shove me from behind and, like, hard. And so I turn around. And I have to look down because I'm a foot taller than this kid. And he goes, heard you were talking shit. And I out loud said, who the fuck are you? Because I was so confused. And, you know, now that it's 12 years later, I guess I'm not angry anymore, but...
I mean, why would you be?
I genuinely did not remember who this kid was.
Yeah.
So I was legitimately out of the loop. And so, I guess, in a morbid way, to his credit, he decks me. Yeah. He just, boom, right in
the jaw.
The right side of my mouth. And, you know, I didn't fall down, I didn't get knocked out or anything.
Nah, I think you may have stumbled a little bit because it knocked you off balance, but you were like...
I took one step back, and so you know how some people have fight and some people have flight?
Yeah. Elmo had fights.
Well, Elmo did, but I had neither. Because I didn't run away.
Right.
And I didn't attack him. I guess when my brain legitimately doesn't know what to do, it turns to humor, so I start laughing.
Yeah.
But not because I thought it was funny, just because I didn't know what else to do. So, a kid decks me. There's blood pouring out of my mouth because he actually moved 2 of my teeth.
Yeah.
So, it turns out he broke his hand when he hit me. So
that's hilarious.
So, 2 of my teeth got moved, so there's blood pissing out of my mouth. I'm looking down, there's a puddle at my feet, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. And and I just start laughing. And he looks at me, clearly not expecting me to start laughing.
Yeah.
And so now he doesn't know what to do. And, you know, when a fight happens in school, everybody stops what they're doing and looks. So 50 people in the cafeteria just see me bleeding from my mouth laughing, saying, I guess I need a new dental plan. Elmo, who was on the football team...
Oh, yeah.
sacks this kid, and he tackles
He tried
him.
to throw a chair at the kid too, as
as
your girlfriend was like taking him to the nurse's office.
He tried to throw a chair at him, and he just like missed. And then he tackled him, and he starts ground and pounding this kid. And so the two like teachers, I guess, who are in the cafeteria are yelling, "Stop it!" And but they can't like touch the kids for whatever reason, so they have to wait for the truant officer who's on the other side of the fucking school.
I forgot we had a truant officer at that time. I barely ever saw him.
Yeah, Waldo, he didn't do much.
Yeah.
And so finally, one of the two teachers grabs my arm once they separate Shitbag and Elmo. They separate them. The teacher is dragging me to the nurse's office. I'm still laughing, by the way.
Right.
My girlfriend was very concerned. My ex-girlfriend, who was later Japan girlfriend, I know how to pick them.
Right.
She was crying, actually, because she just saw me bleeding and she still cared about me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, regular high school shit.
The second I get to the nurse's office, she gives me water to swish and spit and check out my mouth. She calls my mom, blah, blah, blah. My phone is blowing up with people like, "Are you okay? What the fuck happened?" And
right.
I'm writing back. I'm like, shitbag hit me for whatever reason. I'm fine. Mouth's just a little sore. And my mom... And it's just, I know just because she cares. But my mom comes into the nurse's office like I've been shot. I mean, she's just, mascara's running down her face. And she's
like, my God, my poor baby boy.
Yeah, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, my mouth just hurts. And the principal, Mr. H, he comes into the nurse's office, one, to check on me.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, mouth just hurts. I'm fine.
Figure out what the hell happened.
Yeah. He goes, what the hell happened? I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Kid was before Christmas. And I tell him the whole thing. And he says, Miss Muzzy. And she's like, it's whatever. And he goes,
right.
Well, I'm sorry, but I need to talk to you. And she goes, okay. His office is directly across from our nurse's office.
Yeah, it's like not even like 20, 30 feet.
Through two closed doors, I heard my mother clear as day. Because he said, I'm going to have to suspend Shitbag, Elmo, and your son, all for fighting
that you didn't even start.
That I didn't even start, and Elmo just came to my defense. And clear as day, I hear my mother say, "If I punched you in the fucking face, which one of us would get in trouble?" And he's not yelling, so I don't hear him. And she goes, "I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face if you suspend my son or his friend who came to his aid. Do you fucking hear me?" Because my mother, all 5'8" of her, fuck with the cub, and you have to deal with Mama Bear. And so Mom is just like, "I will beat the fuck out of you if you suspend my son or his friend." And he goes,
"Your mom's such a sweetheart too."
She is,
she's such a sweetheart.
Which makes it all the scarier when she gets mad. I mean, when we were growing up, Dad, the 6'3" tattooed bald guy with a fisherman's beard, he was nothing. It was the 5'9" brunette woman. "I'm gonna count to 3. Okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mama.
So long story short, I didn't get in trouble. Elmo didn't get in trouble. And the principal was like, "I'll have you know that Shitbag, when he gets in, he will be... his academics will suffer," I believe was the... And my mom goes...
"Good."
And my mom goes, "He punched my son in the face. I don't think he gives a rat's ass about his academics."
Yeah. See, and that's the horrible thing, is that I don't know what goes on behind closed doors with that whole family, but his two younger sisters...
Shitbags?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were in my same homeroom for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
My last 2 years of high school. And, my final year of high school, on Winter Carnival, there were two massive fights that broke out. One was in the gym, one was just outside the home ec room. I was only able to catch the one outside the home ec room because one of Shitbag's fucking sisters was involved in that fight.
Ugh.
In fact, I think both of them were, actually. So we all had to go back to our homerooms, and sit in silence and sulk because like 30 to 40 minutes of our fucking Winter Carnival got, postponed.
Yeah.
Because of these two dumb cunts.
Yeah.
And 40 minutes later, same two dumb cuntbag sisters come in the homeroom and start talking shit and bragging about, how tough they are, how badass they are, like they kicked her ass, all that shit. And I wanted to look those two in the face and go, you realize that if you manage to get Winter Carnival canceled for like ever, you will be social pariahs.
Yeah.
To this fucking school. Nobody will want to be your friend. Yeah. Nobody will want to talk to you. You will be bullied relentlessly for fucking up everybody's fun.
So our high school, the week before February break.
Yeah, we have like this whole big spirit week.
Monday through Thursday, each day had a theme. It's like, if you're a freshman, you wear green. If you're a junior, you wear black. And every student...
I thought it was seniors who wore black.
I was giving examples.
Okay.
But, yes, it was.
Yeah. Because I still have my senior class shirt.
Like, for every freshman that wears the color that's assigned to them, they get a point.
Yeah.
And throughout these 4 days, whoever gets the most points wins. You don't win anything, just bragging rights.
It made it really easy my senior year since most of my wardrobe is black.
Yeah, mine too.
Mine too.
Yeah, mine too. And then Friday is just an all-day carnival.
Yeah, it's so fun.
There's no schoolwork. There's no anything. There's Dance Revolution, Guitar Hero, Hacky Sack.
Yeah, so you've got outdoor and indoor activities.
Yeah, shoot around, kickball, and it's a really. And then at the end of the day, there's like a pie eating contest.
I mean, most of the time when we did it, we just kind of fucked around and did whatever.
Yeah,
like,
which you weren't technically supposed to just fuck around.
No, I brought my old shitbag laptop, hooked it up to the TV in the green room next to the auditorium, and just showed off my skills playing Devil May Cry to a bunch of people for like 2 or 3 hours, and nobody batted an eye.
Oh yeah, you'd go out to the woods and smoke weed or whatever, and then you'd come back.
Have sex.
Hell yeah. And just throughout the day, just to kind of keep some kind of order, they would just have you go to your homeroom for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, just to check in.
Just to check in, see if you were still at school, make sure you weren't high on heroin, that kind of shit. And then they would... that was extreme. But
no, you're not wrong.
Not wrong. And then they'd send you back out, and you'd have another 2 hours or so. And it's a really fun time. And
people could have lunch whenever they wanted, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, there were people that ate all day. And then there was like a pie eating contest and a talent show. And every year...
there's something that
There would
happens.
be some asshole. There would be those two kids who are like, all right, we're going to wait till Winter Carnival... and we're going to throw down. It's like, how about you fucking throw down on a Wednesday?
I'd say, why don't you be more cliche and wait until, like, the last day of school?
Yeah, do it on Winter Carnival, but, like, go outside and go to the woods or some shit. Don't do it in the fucking auditorium of a packed school where everybody around you's having fun.
Yeah. No, because that ruins everybody's fun.
Yeah.
But, like that wasn't the... Oh, God. That's one of the two times that I remember being told or remembering when Winter Carnival was almost canceled. The second one was actually told to me from my ex the year after. The year after I had graduated, her last year of high school, Winter Carnival almost got canceled because one of the fucking kids was high as shit on like 3 different things. And tried to pick a fight with the assistant principal.
Broadly?
Yeah!
Oh, God.
Oh, he tried to pick a fight with him, told him he ain't shit, fuck this school, nobody gives a shit anyway, that kind of thing. And he was almost expelled and arrested because of the amount of drugs that were in his system.
So...
like, it was fucking nuts.
So, speaking of drugs, he's kind of a fair weather friend, but he is a friend. His name's Thomas. I won't use his last name for obvious reasons.
Right.
He has since become a father, and he's like a stand-up dude. He's awesome. Very cordial every time I see him. But when he was in high school, he was really going through his like rebellious phase.
Yeah.
Where, just like
partying and drugs.
Party, drugs, fuck you, that kind of thing. And our truant officer, Waldo, there was a day
oh no
when we had a glass room
Right.
where you could, like, study and stuff. It was actually really cool. There were doors outside, so you could, like, get a breeze. I loved being in there.
Yeah, there were a few like that, because I know I had the art room for study hall one year, and that was super nice.
Yeah, but this was, like, window, and the window behind you was a glass door that could go outside. So it was awesome. But because it's glass, you can see down the hallway. And so I see Thomas with a backpack running like nobody towards me.
Oh, no.
And he opens like, it's 2 seconds. Not even. Because he's full sprint running. He pushes open the door that kind of enters the room. I'm like, Thomas? And he runs past me and he goes, "Can't talk, busy!" And he bolts outside. 3 seconds after the glass door that he ran out of shuts, here comes Waldo. Pushing open the door, pushing open the other door, and they're gone. And about a half hour goes by. I'm still studying.
Right.
Here comes Waldo.
Oh, no.
With a handcuffed Thomas. No backpack.
Oh, shit.
And so he drags him into the office. He's in, like, I'm not sure where he is for about 3 days. And then I finally see him again. I'm like, you care to explain?
Yeah, what the fuck?
And he goes, somebody knocked on me and told the principal that I had weed in my backpack. I'm like, oh shit. And he goes, here's the thing. They didn't, like, immediately take my backpack. They just called me to the office thinking that it was like a something.
Yeah.
And so the door to they had him sit in a chair. The chair and the door leading into and out of the office are 2 feet apart.
Yeah.
So Thomas has his backpack, and the principal, H, says, Thomas, we have been anonymously informed that you have narcotics in your backpack. And Tom goes, well, I can very... And so he stands up, and he goes like he's going to hand him his backpack. He's like, I can very innocently tell you that I... And he puts it out the fucking door. And he books it out the door, and he books it towards me, and that's when I was like, Thomas, get not now, busy! And he runs out. The truant officer chases after him, but Thomas is a fast son of a bitch. He ran track and shit.
Oh, no.
So he runs into the woods. Waldo loses him.
Ugh.
Finally, Thomas starts walking back to the school. Waldo sees him, handcuffs him, drags him back, and he goes, so we're gonna have to what's the term? Indict, I think.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to indict you on the narcotics. And he goes, what narcotics? And he's like, you had drugs in your backpack. And he's like, you can't prove that. And like, you ran away. He's like, maybe I just felt like fucking running.
Yeah.
You cannot prove that I had narcotics on me. And they couldn't, because he ran and he hid the backpack. So all they could do was give him ISS, because they had no proof. You know what's better?
Jesus Christ.
You know what's better than saying fuck the man? Actually fucking the man.
See, oh, God.
I remember one day there was one day when Principal H came to me and he goes, Greg, I've been told that you are under the influence of alcohol. He wouldn't say you're drunk. He would always make it more articulate.
Yeah.
I'm, he's like, I was told you're high. He's like, I was told you're under the effects of...
I mean, that's something you do if you're, like, the dean of, like, an academy or, like, a private school or something. It's not something you do if you're the principal of a public school.
Yeah.
Just say, yo, you been drinking?
No, you been drinking? I was. But, oh, man.
No. See, the only other stories I can remember about, like, that Winter Carnival-ish type time are usually, like, some of the talent shows that I remember, mostly because I performed in one, my freshman year, which was so embarrassing. And one day, I think my junior or maybe my first senior year of high school, one of the themed days for the week of Winter Carnival was Character Day. So what I did, because it was the middle of fucking winter, and I wanted to dress up as something warm. I took my dad's Sith robes.
Yeah.
Cloak and everything. I even asked the principal, like, a couple days before if it was okay if I could bring a lightsaber to school just to complete the costume, and he was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
which was great. So here I come with my backpack on, full Sith robes, lightsaber and everything. I come into school, people are turning heads, like, they're like, bruh, bro, what?
Were you in the school when it wasn't a winter carnival day? It was just a normal day. Were you in the school when Jesse came in wearing his duck onesie?
Yes.
And they made him go home and change.
Yes.
And he's like, "Why? This breaks none of the rules." And they said it's distracting to people. And so he had to go home.
They shouldn't be distracted.
And the next day, half the school wore PJs in protest.
Oh, God. But
he was such a fucking trip. By the way,
he was so fun.
He is one of the nicest people. Just genuine nicest people. And here's the thing. Jesse, his head is bald except for a mohawk. He is just ripped as shit. I mean, just...
Was he one of the guys who made that death metal band in high school? That, like, James and a few others were part of?
I don't think he was in it. I think he was just, like, a fan.
Because I remember that. I remember that.
I do. That's another thing.
That was my freshman year. Both my
all the way from Texas, Alabama, Larry.
two of my 4 talent show stories that I have involve the same year, freshman year.
Yeah.
And they're both great.
But yeah, Jesse's like a fucking buff gym rat, and he has like a chain necklace and a mohawk, and he always wore like black ripped jeans and combat
Dude's
boots.
like super scary.
But he was super scary looking. But then you talk to him and say, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you."
Hey, what's up?
I was waiting for the tech bus, and Jesse pulls up in his crappy little Geo land in
Oh no!
his crappy little Geo tracker with like a 98 horsepower, and he pulls up. He's like, "Hey, Greg, do you want to ride?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
Pulls up in the shit box.
Let's do this. I sit in his car. On his dash, he had barbed wire. In his fucking cup holder, he had a beer.
This dude maintained an image.
He did. He had a beer in his cup holder. He had barbed wire on his dash. And he's like, "Reach under the seat." He had a very raspy voice. He's like, "Reach under the seat." I reach under my seat and I pull out an empty Jack Daniels bottle with a hole drilled in it and a screen popped in to smoke out of. And he's like, "You give it to me." So I hand it to him. He packs a fucking Jack Daniels bowl. This is at like 7:10 in the morning, by the way. He lights it. He takes a huge hit. He offers me some. I say no, just weed's not my thing. And he goes, "Okay." And then he takes another hit. And he stops. And he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, you've heard about drinking a fifth, right?" Like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'm smoking a fifth."
Jesus Christ.
That was one of the best mornings I've ever...
Oh. God. Yeah, so fucking... Yeah, okay, so on the character day that I dressed up as a Sith, I had gym that day. Completely forgot that I had gym.
Yeah.
So when they asked what activity we wanted to split off into groups to do, I elected to go outside and go snowshoeing.
Yeah.
In this all black wool costume.
I've worn that coat. It was heavy.
It's super heavy, but it's super warm.
It is.
It was like 25 degrees out, and I was sweating going up the snowshoeing trails. And one of my friends came up to me later, and he was like, "Yo, so I saw the gym class earlier. Like, I saw a couple people going snowshoeing. I saw this dude in like an all black outfit, and he looks at me for like a half second, and he goes, 'Were you snowshoeing earlier?' And I was like, 'Yeah, yeah, I was.'"
Oh my god.
Oh man, that was a fun day. But then, fucking freshman year, on Winter Carnival. Before the death metal band came on, which was so
Your
good.
Ghost Belongs to Me.
That's what it's called?
Your Ghost Belongs to Me.
I've been wondering that for years. I've been wanting to look them up again. But it involved like a couple people, like I think probably in your grade.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I know James wasn't in your grade because he was only a grade above me.
Yeah.
But like
James, Basil, JJ, Michael, and one other one.
Super cool dudes, really cool dudes, and I was expecting them to come on and just be like, some sort of like, because like at the time it was like 2010.
Yeah.
So, like, indie rock was super popular at the time, and I expected them to be, like, some kind of indie group, and then all of a sudden, I just hear... and I was like, what the fuck?
And they did that thing where, it would be quiet, and because the curtain was down, and then JJ would, like, stick his hand, and people would cheer, he'd pull it back, people would be quiet, he'd do it with his foot, people would cheer. They did it with Basil's head.
Yeah, and then they just got into it, and it was so fucking great. But, like, just before they came... I think it was either just before or just after they came on, my choir did a special performance of a song. And I don't know what went through Miss Westbrook's head, but she had us do an African tribal chant.
Yeah.
We're a chorus of white kids. All white kids. There were maybe like 3 black kids in the whole school.
If that.
If that. At any given point, there was anywhere between 1 and 3 black kids. Like, ever. So, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck made Miss Westbrook think doing an African tribal chant was a good idea. But the way she had us set up was that the sopranos, being the biggest group, were in the back. Because their voice could project farther. But the smaller groups were the basses and tenors. Mm-hmm. We were directly behind Miss Westbrook. We sang the tribal chant, and we did a dance to it too.
Oh God!
I was mortified, and like after that point, I made it my personal mission to never get up on that stage again for the talent show because I did not want to be remembered as one of those kids in the choir that did the tribal chant.
So, if you're standing on the stage looking at the auditorium, on your right, there's a small bathroom that also connects to the special ed room. It's really weird setup. I guess 2 kids got caught fucking in there. Dude,
there's a lot that goes on in those bathrooms. Like, I have 2 stories when I was doing theater that involved that bathroom.
Dude, my fucking so my major Winter Carnival story is it was my senior year. It was with Japan girlfriend. We just start flirting, and I was like, talking dirty to her. And she's like, take me somewhere private. And I'm like, fucking sure.
Hell yeah.
So we walk behind the buses because it's like where the bus is parked, and then there's like a trail that goes down to like the practice softball field where unless you purposefully go there, you can't see it. So I take her down there, and after we get past the buses and we're about to get on the trail, my buddy Kevin and his girlfriend at the time, they're coming back from the trail. And I'm like, what'd you get? Like, what are you doing out here? And he goes, oh, we just fucked in the woods. and I looked at him and I'm like, we're about to fuck in the woods. Like, high five. Like, hell yeah. Both our girlfriends gave the look of like, oh god.
These fucking dweebs.
These fucking nerds.
Oh, fucking...
I fucked my girlfriend on the pitcher's mound of a softball field.
You told me that. I love that.
Rolled over, got a pine cone up my ass.
The most I got was a blowy in the boys' bathroom on the end of the cafeteria where the gym doors were.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It was awkward.
Dude,
somebody came in while we were like mid blowjob, and we had to stop for a second because we didn't know if they would catch us. So we had to be, like, deathly quiet.
Okay, you know what? If I go into a bathroom and I see... Because I caught people smoking weed many times.
Yeah.
Never any sexual acts, but I'd go in there and there'd be... They didn't even shut the door to the stall. There'd just be 2 freshmen in there with, like, a one-hitter, and they keep packing and passing it to each other, and they look at me, and I'd look at them, and they're... 5 seconds of silence is a very long time.
Oh, yeah. You never realize how long it is until you're stuck in an awkward situation like that, where you're just like,
I don't know them and they don't know me, but they're just like, "Are we in trouble? Are you gonna narc on us?" And I look at them, I'm like, "Dude, I don't give a fuck." And then they'd be like, and then they'd pack the one hitter and they'd like offer me some. I'm like, "Nah, I'm good, thanks though."
Oh.
But if you go into a bathroom and you see somebody getting a blowy or like smoking weed or whatever,
respect their privacy,
and they're not actively like hurting anybody, mind your business.
Yeah.
If I'm pissing or I see 2 sets of feet in one stall, you know what? Mind your business. Who cares?
No, that's when you pass your hand on the stall and go, "Give me some skin, dude." But no, fucking back to back both years. Freshman year, the winter musical we did, or spring musical, I guess, was Annie.
Yep.
I'm not the biggest fan of Annie. I think it's a perfectly okay musical, but it's nowhere near my top 10. And honestly, I just kind of have a bad experience with that musical in general because it was kind of a shit show. But I remember walking in the first day of tech rehearsal, like leading up to the performances, and there's fucking Dylan, who played Daddy Warbucks, like in the bathroom getting his head shaved by my dad. I don't mean like trimmer to the scalp, like Brillo pad texture. No. I watched my dad finish up shaving his fucking head, and then he took out a can of Barbasol and a razor and bicked his fucking head because he didn't want to wear a bald cap.
Oh, jeez.
So Dylan went bald for the rest of the school year.
I remember.
Just to be in the musical. And then I remember a lot of kids crowded around the year after that when we did Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Because about a week before the makeup test, my dad used me as a guinea pig for the gelatin makeup molding for the Phantom's scarring.
Yeah.
And when we finally found the right mixture to fuck it up and make him look about as scary as you can in a high school production. I remember my dad was applying it to his face, and everybody tried to crowd around this tiny ass fucking bathroom, watching my dad put the makeup on just because they wanted to see what Dylan looked like as the Phantom in full costume and makeup and everything. And I just remember everyone kind of looking at him going like, "Oh."
Dude, I remember your dad did my makeup for Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh my god.
I'm sitting on a chair, and your dad is sitting on a chair. Our noses are like an inch from each other, and he's like, "Do you want my makeup?" And he's putting on eyeshadow. I'm like, I didn't think I would have makeup put on me by another man. He's like, "Quit being a bitch."
Dude, did my dad ever tell you the story of when he did fucking Charlotte's Web when he was in high school?
No.
So the girl who played Charlotte had to be in this spandex suit with spider legs attached to it. And no matter what she did, she could never get her legs, like when she shaved her legs, she could never get them smooth enough to to be able to comfortably be in the spandex.
Yeah.
So she looked at my dad and went, "Do you know how to shave like anything like super, super well?" And my dad goes, "Yeah, give me a day or two." He comes back with an actual fucking straight razor and shaving cream and goes, "Okay, put your leg up on the table."
Just Sweeney Todd's her.
Yeah, just put your leg up on the table. And she's like, "Okay." And he shaved her legs for her. She got in the spandex suit and she went, "Oh my god." Like, my dad was a fucking player in high school.
Dude, your dad was awesome.
Oh, man.
I remember
actually,
every time I walked into your house, no matter what, he's like, "The fuck do you want?"
Yeah.
Like, love? He's in the wrong house, dude.
That's actually part of the reason why I was contemplating getting a gaming PC in the first place, was because I was either going to get that or an Xbox One so I could stream all the Halo games, because a couple days ago, it was officially 5 years since he passed, and I always wanted to do something to kind of honor him in some way. And I know Halo was like one of his favorite game series, so I was like, yeah, you know what, I could stream all the Halo games.
Well,
that'd be fun, you know.
Well, when I read that you and Annie's both, I was just gonna basically comment what I wrote, but I was like, I'm just gonna message him because like I went to your house the day it happened, and it was a rough day.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about that day that that I still kind of remember vividly. Like I remember
I was really worried about you because
so were you, so was Austin, and so was my ex. So
well, I was worried because when I got there and I opened your door, you seemed like you are now. Like you were just very like, oh hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
I'm like, and in my head I'm like, oh, he's in shock or he's in denial or something, and that's why I kept being like, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, you know, I worked through it this morning, and I'm like
yeah, that was a total fucking lie. I
I'm
managed
like,
to distract myself playing Batman.
I know you were, you were playing Batman, and I'm like, he's not okay. And then I remember, other people who weren't nearly as close being like, it's like losing my father. I'm like,
I get the sentimentality, but like he's not your actual dad.
Yeah, it's like Peter was a very nice, very good friend.
My fucking dad.
Very good friend of mine, but he's not my dad.
No. No.
Called him God of Games.
But no, I remember that morning when the EMTs came in and took the body away, and we were all kind of standing outside. It was about 7:30 at that point, and I remember just wanting to go upstairs, boot up my PS4 that I wasn't supposed to open until I had moved everything into the spare room downstairs next to the living room. But I said, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'm gonna distract myself with something today, and it's gonna be this. So I wanted to go upstairs and boot up my PS4 and play Batman Arkham Knight. And that's how I distracted myself like most of the day. But before that happened, I had to call my boss and be like, hey, I probably can't make it into work for a little while because my dad just died. And it was the first manager I had at Cumbies, and she was a total sweetheart. She loved me. So she was like, oh, honey, no, take all the time you need. Like, have the rest of the week off. If you need more time, just let me know. And I was like, no, a couple days should be fine. I can be back to work on, like, Sunday or Monday or whatever. And she's like, okay, just, I'm sorry for your loss and everything. I'm like, yeah, thanks. And I remember my ex looked at me and was like, I want to stay here today and, like, be there for you. And I'm like, no, you need to go to school. Yeah. That's more important than this right now. She's like, no.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I am going to stay here. And I'm like, no, you're not. Go to school.
Yeah. I did something somewhat similar when my grandmother passed, my dad's mom. We were really close, and I was actually I was also in my room on my PS4, and Mom knocked on my door, and she never knocks ever.
Yeah.
And I yeah, and she said, have you heard from Dad? And I said, no. And she goes, Grandma Donna just died. Oh. So
fuck.
So I get dressed, I run to my car, and I peel out of the driveway, and I drive to my grandmother's apartment where Dad was. And, I hug him and my sister and brothers. And I don't know why I asked them, like, is she still up there? And they said no. They got her out this morning. Now it's a matter of, like, getting her stuff out and this, that, the other.
Yeah.
And Dad had to go to the coroner and confirm the body, just because it's like standard practice.
Yeah.
And he had to, like, figure out funeral plans and all that, so he had a lot to do while also grieving.
Yeah.
And
which that's the hardest thing right there.
And it's like, hey, I know someone you very much deeply love just died, but no, do you want to talk funeral plans? It's like, give me a fucking minute, man.
Yeah, right.
And so
her body's not going anywhere. Give me a few days.
So Dad asked, what are you gonna do? And I don't know why I said I'm going to go to work, but I did. Just because...
You needed something to distract yourself.
Just because it was a distraction, and
Yeah.
I legitimately had nothing better to do, because it's like, I could go to work, make money, and be somewhat distracted, or I can be at home and not be distracted and be super distraught. So I call Wes, my boss. He's one of the best people I know. And I said, Wes, I'm going to be a little late to work. And he goes, why? I said, my grandmother just died. And he said, oh, dude. Like, yeah, I don't know when I'll be in, but I'll be there. He goes, okay. And at that point in my life, just because of, like, Japan, girlfriend, and like, my diagnosed depression and things like that, I was heavy drinker at the time.
Yeah.
So I pull into my job's parking lot. I am parked at my job. I go into the convenience store across the road from my job. I buy an 18 rack of Coors Light. And I just start pounding beer in my car. And my coworker, who's also my cousin, Briddick, he passes me. And he's like, dude, you cool? Like, no, not really. He's like, why? I'm like, oh, my grandmother died. And he's like, well, it's 3. You're going to be late for work. I'm like, I don't fucking care, And he's like, all right, well, hope it gets better, man.
Yeah.
And so I carry the rest of the 18 rack into work.
Oh.
And I go down into the basement where we change out of our street clothes to our cooking coats. And I just hear footsteps coming down, and there's Wes. And I'm not, like, crying, I'm just drunk.
Right.
And Wes, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't, like, chew me out for drinking, because we all drink, or anything like that. He just hugs me.
Which is the best response you could get, honestly.
Yeah. And I just broke.
Yeah.
Like, just heavy crying. Like, his entire shoulder was wet from me crying. And he said, why'd you come to work? And I didn't. I said, because I got into it with my sister. Emotions are high and whatnot. And she said, why are you going to work? Grandma just died. And I said, well, work needs me. And she said, your family needs you, asshole. And so I told him that. And he just said, Greg, go home.
Yeah.
I'm like, Wes, it's going to be a busy night. He's like, I fucking told you to go home. Like, your boss told you to go home.
Yeah.
So I carry the bit of beer that's left in this 18 rack. And I walk into the kitchen, and I just throw it onto a table. I don't even say, it's like, clunk. I don't say anything to anybody. I just walked out. And that was a rough day.
Yeah, I think I realized how toxic and dead inside I was at one point, because, like, 3 years actually, back to back, about a year or two after my dad, about a year after my dad passed, my great-great-grandmother died, who I barely knew. That stubborn old bitch lived to 103 and suffered from dementia for 50 years.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't know how the hell she managed to live that long. It's a curse. But, like, she died, and then the year after that, my great-aunt died. And then the year after that, my grandfather died. And I didn't shed a tear for my great-great-grandmother or my great-aunt, who I had known for like decades. Because I didn't want to concern anyone. But I straight up got the call from my grandmother the day after my grandfather passed, while I was in the bathroom, about 10 to 15 minutes before I had to leave to catch the bus to go to work. So I got the call, my grandmother's calling me. She's in tears. Like, she's still actively crying. And I just kind of go, okay, yeah, thank you for telling me. I love you. I'll see you soon. And I hang up, and I cry for like 5 minutes.
Yep.
Still on the toilet. And then I just wipe my eyes, brush my teeth, get on the bus, and go to work. Like, nothing happened. And I even straight up looked at my coworkers, like, my friends, in the eyes. And I was like, yeah, my granddad died today. And they were like, dude, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And I wasn't fine.
No. I'm
really good at hiding it, though.
There have been a few family member deaths that I just did not react to, just because either we weren't close, or as shitty as it is to say, like, we didn't really have a connection, so I didn't care too much.
You just kind of expected it eventually.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's iffy, you know. I had an aunt who died.
Depends on the person.
I had an aunt pass away who I wasn't very close to, and I didn't cry for her, but I went because of my cousins. They were cool.
Right.
I remember I got mad about a person dying once. It was my genetic father's mom, Mimi,
right.
I call her. Mimi passed away. And he told me through a text while I was at school.
Jesus Christ.
And here's the thing.
There are worse ways to tell people that, but, like, telling it through text is not the way to do it.
It gets worse.
Oh, no.
So, I'm pissed about it. I'm crying. I text my sister. He already texted her, so now we're texting each other. We're both crying. A few days later, because, you know, we know that he has to do the stuff Dad had to do. He has to arrange the funeral and do all these things.
Right, yeah.
I text my father, genetic father, and I say, when's Mimi's funeral? Meaning, like, when should I plan to be? And he goes, and he writes back, 11.
Like today?
Like that day.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, Mimi's funeral is in 25 minutes.
Ah!
So...
Oh my God.
And he didn't, obviously, before that, tell me. So... Found out through a text Mimi's dead. Find out a few days later through text her funeral is in a half hour. And nobody else on that side of the family decided to tell me or my sister.
Jesus Christ.
So now I'm texting both my sister and my mom, trying to see, like, hey, can you get me out of school so I can go to my grandmother's funeral? And it just wasn't an option. It couldn't happen.
Fuck.
And I was so mad. I got mad at Mom too. Because Mom's dad, my grandfather, I was so close to him.
Right.
Like, he was the real deep connection. I still think about him a lot.
Yeah.
I used to be mad at Mom, but I guess it was his decision.
Oh, no.
He didn't want anybody to see him in the state he was in. He wanted, like, remember me as I was kind of thing. So I couldn't go visit him while he was still alive in the hospital.
He was dying of something, wasn't he?
Cancer. Because...
Yep, my great-grandmother was the same way.
All of my grandparents, I mean, they were from the era where, like, you start smoking at, like, 11.
Yeah.
Like, they smoked when they were 12 to... really when they died. And
yeah,
so
pretty much.
He had lung cancer. He was the dude who would take off his oxygen mask, take a hit off a cigarette, blow it out, put the oxygen mask back on, just because at that point damage was done, and he's like, smoking makes me happy. I want to die happy.
Yeah, fuck it.
But he didn't want anybody to see him as he's like, remember me as I was, so I couldn't visit him while he was still alive in the hospital. And Mom didn't let me go to his funeral. Or when they spread his ashes. The only people allowed to spread his ashes were my grandmother, my mom, and my two uncles. They spread his ashes in Lake Champlain.
Oh. Well, that's sweet.
his favorite place to be. And and when they're on their way back, Mom, like 70-30, starts laughing, crying. And my uncles, Mark and Brian, they're like, Annette, what are you laughing about? She goes, don't you remember? Dad didn't know how to swim. Lived his whole life terrified of water.
And he chose to have his ashes spread on a lake?
On Lake Champlain.
Jesus Christ.
Then there was the...
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Then there was the day where Grandpa's wife, also my mom's mom, passed away. Got cremated. And the guy was super cool. He brought over Grandma like a smoothed out, like hickory box.
Ooh.
And he brought over a quart of maple syrup. Because maple syrup's a currency around here.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
He drops off a box with our grandma in it and a thing of maple syrup. He's like, my condolences. You know, here's just a little trinket to ease you. And we're like, thanks. So now it's my sister, my two brothers, me, and my mom staring at this box with my grandmother's ashes in it, and nobody's saying anything.
I mean, you get a pretty dope box out of it, so like...
Yeah, and we're like, hey, Grandma, you lose weight? And we just start making jokes, because that's kind of one of our ways of coping.
Yeah.
I think my brothers took the box and, like, keep their trinkets in it now.
My mom always wanted to do something with Dad's ashes, where she found this place that like can turn your loved one's ashes
Into jewelry.
And she wanted to do that for the longest time, but
I had an ex who did that.
I don't think she ever did, which is a real shame because that would have been dope. But when I die, I kind of want to be remembered the same way my dad did, with a big old fucking barbecue.
That was so fun.
It was so great. Like I
mean,
had a lot
Actor and Dweeb were annoying, but
yeah, but like, you know, a lot of my close personal family came up to visit, and we rented out a nice big clearing at Vermont Academy for the day. Rented out pavilion tents and everything. Bunch of friends and my ex.
We had lightsaber fights and barbecue.
Broke my ex's lightsabers on accident.
It was kind of cool how you broke it, though.
I know.
Because you didn't, like...
She never understood that, which I think is hilarious.
Because, like, we have lightsabers. I know we're so fucking cool. And your ex had 2 purple ones.
Yeah, so for, I think it was a anniversary or maybe her birthday, I bought her... No, it was an anniversary, because I bought a lightsaber for myself. So I bought my own lightsaber, and I asked her what lightsaber she wanted, and I gave her, you know, a couple options. And she was like, I want a double-bladed saber. And I was like, I bet. So
I bet.
So I looked through it with her, and she picked out the one she wanted, and I asked her what color I didn't even ask her what color she wanted because I knew what her favorite colors were. So I picked them out in purple.
Yeah.
Completely forgetting the fact that when you make purple LEDs, it's actually a strip of red and blue LEDs.
Uh-huh.
So you had to be extra careful with those sabers, because if you managed to damage them...
And you busted the blues?
I did!
So it would start purple, but then it would slowly fade to red.
Yeah.
And I thought that was some cool shit.
God, like... Years later, every time she turned on the lightsaber, it would just automatically shift to red. Like the blue LEDs just died.
Yeah.
Like after a while, so it instantly turned on to red, and I know she hated it. And for the longest time, I wanted to get them fixed, but like I just never got around to it. But it didn't matter because they look fucking cool.
Yeah, dude.
But like. That was a really fun day, and that's kind of how I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered by my friends and family, having a big old barbecue, making fun of how much of a fucking dork I was.
I want to have a funeral.
A funeral?
Yeah, instead of funeral, I'm having a funeral where it's kind of the same thing. It's an indoor party, and my body will drop from the ceiling.
While they play Space Jam?
I'm just kidding. Although I do want to have the intercom play like Pop Goes a Weasel, and everybody just slowly turns and looks at my casket.
How much do you think you'd have to pay to have a spring-loaded casket just for that joke?
Oh, too much money. I mean, regular caskets are
worth it. Fucking worth it.
Just custom make something.
And then at the end of Pop Goes the Weasel, it automatically shifts to Space Jam. I'm wearing like fucking shutter shades, and I've got like a party whistle in my mouth and a party hat on.
The shades are like taped to your head, so they stay on.
Like it just looks like a full Weekend at Bernie's situation at my wake.
Eric's funeral, electric boogaloo.
Oh fucking Christ! Oh man, that'd be perfect. Speaking of dead dads, though.
Oh my god.
He beat Miles Morales twice.
Jeez. Okay. Not as bad a segue as I thought you were going to do.
Weird segue, I know, but in context, in the PS4 Spider-Man game, Miles' dad dies trying to protect Mayor Osborn from a City Hall bombing.
Now it's weird because it's technically not a different game, it's just a massive DLC. Technically.
No, it's more along the lines of like Uncharted Lost Legacy, where it's more like a side story instead of just something that could be added onto the base game that it stemmed from.
So like ODST.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I mean, for like $50, it was totally worth it. I mean, I beat the fucking thing twice, and I'm gonna beat it a third time on stream. So like, fuck yeah. I platinumed the game last night.
Jesus.
At 4 a.m. But Miles Morales is a super, super fun game. It's a total blast to play. There's so much I could get into about it, but like all my thoughts are just so disjointed about it because I could segue from one thing to the other and like have no cohesive thought. All I can say is that it is really good. It's really good. It's totally worth the $50. At the end of the story mode, it unlocks 2 more side missions. One of them's just a quick little get in, get out thing that unlocks a side costume, where you go into this local bodega near Miles' apartment, run by this dude named Teo, who has a bodega cat, whose name is Spider-Man. Which is great. I love that. But when you go in, you interact with the cat to pet it, and then the next cutscene triggers, and it's Miles in his Spider-Man costume with his red Adidas on, which you can buy. You can buy those Adidas.
Of course.
Like, they're real. They were made specifically as a cross-promotion. But he's got his Spider-Man suit on with the red Adidas and a red hoodie with a backpack on the back with Spider-Man in it, with a little Spider-Man mask.
Oh my god!
And if you wear it like swinging around the city, if you do like one of the finisher moves on an enemy, there's an occasional finisher that'll trigger where Miles does the finisher, but then Spider-Man jumps out of the bag for a second, scratches the person's face, and then jumps right back in, like mid-air. It's super cool.
Jeez.
But the second side mission that you get at the end of the game is one called Memory Lane, which serves as... Spoilers, the main villain, the Tinkerer, dies at the end of the game.
Of course.
Yeah. She dies. But Memory Lane is this side mission that takes place on Miles' 18th birthday, where his dad set up a special birthday scavenger hunt, which I guess they did every year in that universe. He recorded all the lines for it and everything, and put them on little USB drives. And so Miles' mom has a little, secret mission of her own that kind of takes place, during the events of the game, the way I see it, where Miles has to go on this massive scavenger hunt across the city to all the fun places that he used to go with his dad and Finn when they were kids, and like each one has these like super special like messages about fun memories that his dad had taking Miles to like the Museum of Fine Art or the Empire State Building or stuff like that. And
did that hit you hard?
The end of that side mission made me fucking cry. It was so sweet. And I'm currently in the middle of doing that side mission on New Game Plus right now, and I'm honestly not ready to do it again because that shit hurt. But it's like a good hurt. Which, super worth it. Great game. Surprisingly, one of the best aspects of that game is a lot of the quality of life changes between PS4 Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. Like, for example, in Spider-Man PS4, certain suits and gadget upgrades and skills were locked behind these tokens that you would get for completing different things. So, like, they're like these science puzzles you have to complete, just crimes in progress, story shit, research tokens. Like, there was like 5 or 6 different kinds of tokens that you could collect, and that would allow you to unlock new suits. They streamline it in Miles Morales to have it all centered on one app that Genki makes called the Friendly Neighborhood app.
Okay.
Where you swipe left on the touchpad and it brings up this little subscreen that has a series of little side missions. These side missions give you activity tokens. And you get activity tokens for doing a lot of things, for finding stuff hidden in the environment, doing other side missions, completing the Friendly Neighborhood stuff. And they all go towards unlocking new suits and everything. So they streamlined it from 5 tokens to 2. Because there's activity tokens and tech tokens that you get for finding underground caches.
Okay.
Which is super great. A lot of the suits are really, really fun. Like, there are a couple that are references to the comics. Like, Miles has his own homemade suit that appeared in, I believe it appeared in one of the issues of Ultimate Spider-Man. When Miles first becomes Spider-Man, he's wearing a cheap, like, costume store Spider-Man suit. So they have a variant of that is technically Miles' first Spidey suit in the game.
I was really, really hoping that they would have had the too small suit from Into the Spider-Verse.
That would have been hilarious, but they do have the Into the Spider-Verse suit at the end of the movie that has a suit mod that changes just Miles' frame rate to 24 frames per second. So it looks like he's moving like he's in the movie. They've actually added a bunch more stuff too that's in the remaster for the first Spider-Man too. Like in the first Spider-Man game, you got a suit power and a suit mod, and that was it.
Yep.
In the remaster, you get 2 visor mods, which Miles also gets. But Miles gets 2 suit mods in his game, while in the remaster, Peter gets 3. And a suit power. So you can have 6 different things going on at once.
Damn.
In the remaster, which is super cool. But, like, Miles has a bunch of great suits. Like, there's one called, I think it's called Harlem's Best or something like that, where it's the same suit, but it has, like, this golden shine to it. And there's some little changes to it, like the the corner before the dip where the spider symbol is has little points that also point up, and they added chevrons to the bottom of the shoulder parts, which are super cool. There's a suit based on the Prowler that you get for completing all the Prowler stuff. It's purple and gray with green glowing accents.
Oh, shit.
Which is super cool.
I might have to get this when I go home.
Oh, that's great. I can show it to you when we're done with this. There's also a suit based on a series of mini comics called The End, which are meant to be non-canonical last stories of certain Marvel superheroes. And there's some really good ones too. Like the one for the Hulk is literally the Hulk has stayed alive through the end of time and just kind of sits in his isolation as he watches the universe implode, which is super cool. Venom has one where he fights where he's the last living organic in a universe filled with like this techno-organic race run by a rogue Tony Stark AI.
Jeez.
Which is really cool. Miles' story focuses on him taking down this like Mad Max style biker gang called America's Best, run by a dude with a knockoff super soldier serum called Captain Last.
Jeez.
That one's great. He also has 2 suits based on variant covers for other comics. Because there's a 2099 variant that looks really cool. And it has red, white, and blue for the spider to match his Puerto Rican descent. Which is great. Because Miguel, the Spider-Man in 2099, is half Hispanic, half Irish. So they wanted to do the same thing with Miles. And then he also has one called Spider-Man 2020, which is the most cyberpunk looking shit ever. Like the he wears a full helmet, with an LED lenses, and the LED lenses move with his emotions like they're just the regular lenses.
Oh my god,
it's so cool. It's really fun. Miles has a lot of really nice little touches that make him very different from Peter. Like he has a lot more added animations in combat and traversal that make him feel, young and inexperienced and fresh as Spider-Man, which is really fun. Like there's so much. There's so much about Spider-Man Miles Morales that I could go on about, and it's utterly fantastic. There's a reference to Stan Lee.
Of course.
Just down the street from Nick's Diner on the West End, there's a statue with a little plaque on it.
There's also Bozeman Way.
Yep, there's also Bozeman Way, and right at the end of the credits, before the post-credits scene, there's 2 thank yous at the end of the credits. One is to Brian Michael Bendis and Sarah Pacelli for creating Miles Morales, and the other one is to Chadwick Boseman for being an icon in the black superhero community.
Yeah.
And for his years of hard work as an actor.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. I think they're both great. I didn't even notice the Bendis and Pacelli one until I just beat it last night again. Because I wasn't paying attention to that. Which I think is super cool that they thanked the creator as well as Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, the hiccup when it's going down.
Yeah.
Hurts.
Oh god, did you ever hear? Did you hear about the meme about the GameSpot review for Miles Morales?
No.
There was a reviewer that made a video review for Miles Morales that described the feel of being Miles, the feel of his clumsiness, his awkwardness, and the added flair his own personality gives to Spider-Man as being the exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Good goddamn.
Oh, yeah. It's bad. And it's been memed to death at this point. People cannot get enough of that one line because it is the dumbest shit anybody has ever heard in a game review. And it's so funny. Let me see if I can pull it up, because this is some top-notch shit.
Some top-notch shit, huh? I mean, how do you choose those words for a review that you're pretty sure is going to get viewed?
Yeah, here we go.
Yes, the way he leaps off of rooftops and flips backwards to face the camera before falling into a headfirst dive is just full of the exaggerated swagger of a black teen. It gives me goosebumps every time he does it.
Well, to be fair, in the interest of fairness, every black teen I know that jumps off a roof looks at the camera before. Every single one.
You know what's really fun to do, actually, in Miles Morales? I like to turn off the music every once in a while, like all the music, and I just play the soundtrack to Into the Spider-Verse. So I can go swinging around the city to, What's Up Danger, and...
What's Up Danger, Sunflower.
Sunflower. They play Sunflower at my work every once in a while, and it always gets me in a bit of a groove and mood. Look at DMCH, stop. We're a tiny podcast. We can't be DMCA'd yet. We haven't even hit 10 episodes.
Oh, shit.
But, how are you...
Come at me, Sony. I'm not scared of you.
How is anybody ever that off off base with describing anything by saying like why even bring his race into it? Why not be smarter with your review and like talk about how
the swagger of a teenager.
Not even that. Like, be smarter and talk about how the added animations given to Miles give you that feel that he is a younger, fresher, inexperienced Spider-Man, and he adds a lot of flair to the character from his upbringing, being a kid from Brooklyn, moving to Harlem, and having a lot of those, like, two different boroughs having clashing personalities. He kind of, like, adopts semblances of both of them, because a lot of his tricks in the air also include like breakdancing moves and stuff, which is super cool. He's really into like sound mixing and making music beats. Like there's a lot more to his personality than him just being black.
It's
now like you could do so much more to describe that, but they don't do it because they aren't paid enough and they aren't smart enough to figure that shit out. I'm an amateur reviewer at best. I haven't even written a fucking review and I could word it better. It's ridiculous. I hate it.
Well, it's not uncommon for characters to directly or indirectly represent a group or organization. I mean, the reason why guy who played it, the guy who played Professor X.
Patrick Stewart?
Thank you. I don't know how I skipped on that, but Sir Patrick Stewart, he said, I am a gay man, and when I read this...
Well, no, he's not gay. Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen's gay.
Forgive me. God, now
he played Magneto.
Now I've disgraced both of them. But he said, I am a... when I read the script, I'm like, oh, well, one, he's physically handicapped, but also... they're an ostracized and often demonized group.
And being an out and proud gay man, he can kind of sympathize with that.
Yeah.
Which is super cool. Like, that's actually exactly what X-Men has always been about, is being able to unite people against the prejudices that define who they are because of how they were born.
Yeah.
Mutants can stand for anything. They can stand for gender identity, sexuality, race...
I mean, Mystique. Her whole thing was, I can be whatever I want.
Yeah. Like, there's a great, I forget the character's name because it's been a while since I've read that run, but in All New X-Men, there's a character on the team who's gay, but she's also still devoutly Catholic. And there's a part where Iceman looks at her and goes, so how can you be, gay?
Because Iceman's gay as well.
Yeah, he's now gay. Yeah. He's like, how can you still be devoutly Catholic knowing that the church spits in your face about who you choose to love? And she's like, it's not about who I choose to identify with religiously. It's about adhering to the teachings of Catholicism, of being that righteous, good person that can always help people who need help. That gets me through it. Even though she also does have a really good rant when they're in France to the statue of... I think it's a statue of Jesus or something like that. About why God decided to curse her into not only being a mutant but also being gay and Catholic, and why he thought that was a good idea. And I think somebody comes up to her and goes, well, maybe it's all part of his plan. Maybe he wanted you to face that hardship and diversity so that way you would come out stronger in the end. Yeah. And there's all sorts of fun things like that. Like, Nightcrawler's a fucking pastor.
Yeah.
Well, he was a pastor at one point. There's actually a really, really creepy line at the end of the recent X-Men relaunch. I think near the end of issue 7 or 8, where... people are witnessing the rebirth of a mutant on Krakoa, and she like somebody who was a mutant, but after Wanda kind of fucked up the multiverse and said no more mutants, like she lost her powers. So in order to gain her powers back, she had to fight Apocalypse in battle.
Oh Jesus!
And she wasn't expected to win. She was just expected to fight until she could die, and then she got brought back. And so as she's brought back, you know, they go through their whole spiel, and she flies into the air with a big smile on her face, and like just happy to have her powers back. And the last line in that issue is Nightcrawler going, "I think I may need to start a religion." And I saw that line, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Because like, ever since House of X, Powers of X, the X-Men have gone in a oddly cultish direction, but like not in a bad way. It's actually super smart how they do it, but like it still kind of creeps me out because at any second you're just expecting this big heel turn and go, "Oh yeah, they're a cult now," and you just be like,
I think of that episode of King of the Hill where Luann accidentally joins a cult where all the girls are named Jane, and she's like, "I'm Luann," and they're like, "You're Jane now." And Hank's like, "Excuse me, we're looking for the cult." And they're like, "We're not a cult. We're an organization to promote the people." Yup, this is the place. Yup, this is it.
Oh man, actually, you know what? Speaking of, I think it's maybe a good place to end the episode.
Okay, now. All right.
Unless you have more to talk about or more to say.
Nah,
All right.
I am all talked out.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to do my little comic book recommendation thing.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. And there's been a lot of comics that I've read and reread. But I am going to actually recommend, because I know one of the episodes I recommended House of X, Powers of X. So what I am going to recommend this time is Dawn of X, which is which is one of the many current X-Men series going on right now, but it's more like an anthology series to get people back into X-Men and like picking and choosing like what run they want to pick up. And so like each volume has a different issue, like the next issue in the series of whatever comic they decide to run for that book. So like the first one had a relaunch of X-Men, X-Force, Excalibur, Marauders, which is fucking great. And a solo series called Fallen Angels, which follows Quanon, who's the hand assassin that the hand transplanted Psylocke's mind into for like 2 decades. Now she's her own person again. Young teenage Cable and X-23 as they go on a revenge mission, which is super cool.
I also have a book to recommend.
Ooh.
It's called Ministry. And it's the autobiography of one of my favorite musicians, Al Jurgensen, where his band is called Ministry. And he is one of the most drugged up, renegade, deplorable people. But, like, not in a bad way. He's not, like, a dick.
Right.
It's just he had some really bad addictions and some really bad habits. Like, let me you know how sometimes when you order a book off, like, Amazon or Kindle, they'll give you, like, a page or two to read before you buy it?
Yeah.
The sample that he was talking about how after a show, him and a groupie went back to the hotel. They got high off coke. He fucked her in the ass, and then he flushed her clothes down the toilet.
What the fuck?
Flushed her clothes down the toilet, and so she comes and she's like, "Where are my clothes?" And he's like, "I don't know." So she's getting all pissed off. So, you know how some tables will have, like, the cloth over them?
Yeah.
He takes the cloth off the table, cuts arm and head holes in it to make it like a poncho, and then they like, wrap it around and tie it so that it kind of mimics a dress.
Oh,
and he's like, "Hey, so, sorry about flushing your clothes down the toilet. As an apology, do you want to go on tour with me?" And she's like, "Okay."
What the fuck?
The book opens. The first line in the book was, it's really hard when you go to tell your wife I love you and you just spit up your own blood. He's like, "I was dying, but that was no big deal because I'd almost died 3 times by then."
What the fuck?
That's how it starts.
Oh my god. That sounds super, super good.
Ministry by Al Jurgensen.
Okay, I am gonna have to look that up because that sounds fucking hilarious.
Sorry, I flushed your clothes down.
Oh my god. That's great.
Alrighty, that's my recommendation.
Alright, so we've got an actual book recommendation. And again, I'm going to recommend Dawn of X because it's really good and I've bought every single volume so far. And I will continue to buy every single volume until they stop making it. Marvel, please don't stop making it. I really like it. It's really fun. And until then, this has been Talkin Shop. You can follow me on Twitter and on Twitch, where I stream usually whenever I have a day off. My schedule's not exactly set for it.
And you can follow me on nothing, because I don't have Twitter.
That is true. And until then, we will see y'all later. Take care.
Take care.